You know what I mean? I'm close to my 30s now. It should be I should dictate what I want.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Askar, let's just start off with the last fight. You know, you were supposed to fight in February. I believe we
Hmm.
did an interview ahead of that fight against Mateus Silva. Just take
Mm.
us through what exactly happened with that, and you know.
Imagine, man, if I fought that dude, I would have definitely finished his ass. But after seeing him fight Chris Matoyo or whatever his name is, and he got ground and pound finished, and I felt like it would have suited my style, but it wasn't written for me to have that fight. I don't know. It got hard. It got hard. The weight cut got tough. I was on track to make weight, but a few bumps in the road were presented themselves in that camp, and I couldn't get myself down to 136 even. I got stuck at 138, and it got to the point where I was overheating and dehydrated and just messed myself up. But honestly, I don't want to go into detail of like what happened during camp, this and that. That stuff is irrelevant. It's in the past. I guess I wasn't meant to fight Matoyas. You know what I mean? He was meant to fight somebody else, but I ended up that ended up happening to me, and I ended up making a drastic life change. You know what I mean? I moved back home to Chicago and found a new base and different consistency of training, and just I'm going about it a different way, where I have full control of my camp and my, you know what I mean, my output every day and what I'm doing, and yeah, and I feel like I'm gonna bring a new animal, come September 30th against this kid Austin. And I feel like I'm in shape, lean, ready, mean, and ready to make weight and fight 25 minutes.
There you go. Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to get into. Is I saw that you are back in Chicago, back at home, and talk about like the new environment that you're in, the new surroundings for yourself.
I mean, it's obviously old back home, but man, it changed a lot. Obviously, we when we were here, it was the coronavirus was in full effect. Everything was shut down. Nobody was able to do anything. The gyms were scarce. Nobody was really training. You know what I mean? It was like there was no really any gyms around here, and or even anybody even going to a gym and working out. And that's when we decided to make the move to Colorado because we needed a gym that was committed. And no matter what, even if this pandemic that, people were still training and pushing and fighting. And I felt like us going to Factory X, and spending that about 2 years there, a year and a half, and getting to train with those high caliber dudes and those coaches and all that stuff helped us, immensely. But it was just time to come back home. It was time to come back home. I felt like I was out in Colorado working more to pay the bills and to be able to live in Denver. You know what I mean? You hear guys that live in Denver say that all the time. You know what I mean? You got UFC fighters talking about how expensive it is to live in Denver. Imagine if you're not a UFC fighter. You know what I mean? You got to have a side job. And I'm the kind of guy that commits to myself to this game. I fight and I train every single day. I dedicate myself to this. So anytime that's taken away from like my training or my, what I mean, my nutrition or my recovery, it's only to my detriment. It's either you're adding to the bottom line or you're taking away. And I felt like I got to a point where I was taken away from the bottom line towards the end of the last, I would say the last year leading into February for that fight, where I was working more. I had to freaking pay the bills. I had to like just make enough money just to eat and survive, and it's like I say that, and it's not like I was fine dining. You know what I mean? I was just fucking eating garbage just to get by and pushing myself every day in training and trying to hit runs and this and that, and it was just too much. So being home with my parents, my family, my brothers, there's a little bit more consistency. We're working here as a team. We're all, living at home again. Me and me and my brothers, and yeah, we have one goal. We pitch in with the bills with the family, and then we fully focus on our careers. You know what I mean, and push and watch our nutrition. Honestly, the biggest difference now being back home is my mom's help. You know what I mean? She helped me, my brother make weight. And now she's helping me make weight with the extra like hand in making the food and making sure everything's all ready. So that helps a lot.
Man, you got a nutritionist at home.
I
you
know.
know.
Tell me about it. I know, and it's just crazy to think about because honestly, 3, 4 years ago, she was like, she didn't really have an understanding of how we eat to cut weight. But it's like after the coronavirus happened and we spent some time together at home, and she started seeing like kind of how we cook, and she experienced a few of our weight cuts, and she started like kind of settling into our careers because our mother never really wants to get involved in fighting. But my mom now, she's like, I don't want to miss a fight. I don't care where it's at. I'm coming. She's been to our last like 3 or 4 fights. Even when we were living in Denver, she was flying out to come watch us fight in different states. So it's like now we're at the point where it's like everything is in sync, with our families. Where my mom and my dad know where me and my brother Motaz are at in our careers, and we're pushing in terms of nutrition, in terms of training, in terms of recovery, in terms of everything. So it's like, and they're fully supporting us. So I feel like we're in a different sync right now where we're all pushing at once.
Yeah, once you got mom, helping you out, you know what I mean?
I
That kind
know,
of gives clicks into another gear right there, right?
I
Because usually
know,
moms
I
don't like their kids fighting and shit. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
not
I
what they
know.
want.
Trust me, no, my mom will be like, she'll be like, work on this today. You should be working on this. She'll literally, they'll critique. I'll come home. They're either watching one of my fights or one of my brother's fights on the TV, and they're like, we think you should work on a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. You need to build a little bit more, you know what I mean, aggressiveness with your attack or explosiveness with your takedown. And I'm like, my mom is breaking down the game for me. You know what I mean? And then she's obviously her help with the nutrition is honestly I feel like the biggest key for this camp because I feel like a different animal. Honestly, I'm looking at myself. I look pretty lean. I look good, but I can't thank her enough. Honestly, I can't thank her enough. This camp, how much she's helped me.
For sure, man, for sure. And this fight, man, title fight, bantamweight title fight. You know what I mean? Austin Bashi, undefeated prospect. That's who you want. You want the guys that are undefeated. You want the guys that have the belts, so you could have the belts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. When I came back, I was trying to look for a fight, and it was obviously it's been a struggle. I came back in like February, March, and I took about a month or two off just to reset my system and let my metabolism come back from all those weight cuts back to back. And once I got settled back in, I was trying to look for a fight, and obviously it's been tough to find something outside the UFC. And when Austin's name came up, I accepted it. They waited a little bit, his camp, and then they finally accepted it for a show in Michigan, obviously, for his hometown. And honestly, I think it's a good matchup. It's a good matchup. He's a tough kid, but I'm a big test. You know what I mean? He's 10-0 undefeated. He's been beating some dudes, but he's never fought a dude on my level. You know what I mean? My mentality, my tenacity. So I'm excited to get in there with this guy and test him and see how good he is. It's 25-minute fight and it's a fight. He's not gonna be able to wrestle for 25 minutes. I don't care. He's gonna have to stand in front of me and we're gonna have to strike. And I want to see how good he is on the feet.
Yeah, it's no secret what he wants to do. You know what I mean? Like his game plan, like if you watch his previous fights, you could kind of see like what their plan is based around. Like you said, his wrestling. You can't wrestle for. Yeah, I was just watching the worlds. Was the worlds for wrestling.
Yes, yeah,
It was like a couple days ago or whatnot. But yeah, man, those guys are wrestling like crazy, man. I don't think you could keep that pace for even 5 minutes straight.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. And we're in a cage. We're fighting MMA. We got the gloves on. I could crack elbows, knees, and you know what I mean, hammer fists. It's like, he can wrestle all he wants. And I don't even think he was a college wrestler. He's a high school wrestler. And it's crazy because I know he comes from a camp where he's training with this Thai dude that's a good striking coach. But at the end of the day, you go back to what you're comfortable with. And I know I saw something about him saying like, oh, he wants to get more comfortable, more comfortable. It's like this is the wrong fight if you want to try to get comfortable. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make you get into a fight where there's no comfort in this motherfucking thing. You know what I mean? We're gonna fight for September 23rd, September 30th, and if he's looking for any form of like being comfortable, it's gonna be a problem.
Have you been going to like other gyms to spar, or are you just been doing it with your brothers?
No, no, no. I've been cross training for a few different gyms. You know what I mean? That's the nice thing. It's like ever since I've been back, I stopped. Like I don't want to do that like commit to one gym thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like head coach tells you what to do, tells you how he thinks it should be. You know what I mean? Like I'm going up to Rufus Sport in Milwaukee. I'm going to a few gyms in the Chicagoland area, Intercept, Cologne MMA in Indiana, and then I'm even going up to Michigan to train with Mando Gutierrez at what do they call it? Man, I forgot the gym's name, but I was just there last week for about. I stayed there. Murcielago, yes, Murcielago, yes, yes, yes. Shout out to those guys. I was there for maybe 4 or 5 days last week. Stayed up by Mondo's house and was training with those boys. Yeah, so honestly, I'm mixing it up. I'm doing what I feel like. I might this camp. I did it this way just to stay close to home. Next camp, I might go down to Florida. Train with a team. Go back to Colorado. Stay there if they let me. I tried. You know what I mean, going back and forth to Colorado, but Coach Mark wasn't having that. So maybe train with a different team, but change it up. Like I'm done doing this. Like, oh, you gotta sit and commit and be with one gym. It's like, bro, you know what I mean? You're not committing to one fighter. You got a group of fighters. You know what I mean? So it's like you should let us mix. And at the end of the day, you're taking most of our money anyway. So yeah. So this little switch up.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You need to see what's out there. You need to,
Yeah,
you
exactly,
know,
exactly.
get some
And change it up.
variety.
Change it up. It's like, yeah, I get the loyalty thing and like this, and that, but it's like, man, you only got one life, one career. Like, I'm gonna sit here and fucking train with the same guy with the same mentality, over and over and over. I've done that for a couple years. I've been in this game for a minute now. I'm 29. It's like I've trained with coaches for 4 years, 3 years straight, 5 years straight, and committed myself to that gym. And it's like, it's obviously paid, but now it's time for me to change it up. You know what I mean? I'm close to my 30s now. I should dictate what I want. You know what I mean? There's days I wake up and I feel like, man, you know what? Today I want to spar hard, and I know the exact gym to go to spar hard. And today, some days I wake up and be like, you know what? Today should be a light day. I'll go do some jiu-jitsu. I'll go hit a run. I'll go do some conditioning. I could always switch it up and dictate it my way, and I don't have to hear somebody saying, "Hey, where you at today? Why don't you come to the gym?" You know what I mean? I don't have to hear that, which I love, because it's like I don't want to feel like, because everybody trains at a different pace. You know what I mean? I'm sure you understand that. And it's like if some days you wake up, you're tired, you miss some sleep, or you have some extra sleep, so you have extra energy, and you want to push a little harder. But oh no, today's Thursday, so the coach doesn't want to go hard because it's Thursday. He's tired from, but it's like I had a good night's rest yesterday. I want to push today. You know what I mean? Or I didn't have a good night's rest yesterday. I don't feel like sparring today. I feel like maybe doing some jiu-jitsu, some gi, some no gi, some wrestling, something a little lighter, and then doing it the next day. So I love that, being able to control that in this camp.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of fighters that do that nowadays, right? Even world champions at the UFC level that don't really have like a main team. They might have their coaches, a head coach or whatnot, but not. They
Yes.
go around, like for example, Wei Lee. She's been around to many different gyms as a champion. You know what I mean? But she just has like a solid crew, like your brothers. You know what I mean? You could take your brothers with you to any gym,
Exactly.
roll in and get good work, and then leave, and it's all good, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. As long as those
Um,
guys are in my corner and nothing else, you know what I mean? Nothing else matters.
and mom's at the house. She's gonna be having the feast ready for you after the fight. You know what's
Tell her,
up.
listen, she's real close to being in the corner too, honestly. Goddamn. About to pull a Wild Rosas, put my mom and my dad in
Yeah,
the corner.
that would be yeah, that would be phenomenal. Maybe when you get to the UFC or something,
No,
the bigger
no, no, no.
organization.
They'll be fine sitting in the crowd.
I was
Yeah.
talking with Fernando Padilla. He just fought like last weekend, but he made his debut against Julio Rosa.
Hmm.
And in when he fought his debut UFC, it was like his former coach was in the opposite corner. His mom and
Wow.
dad was sitting behind his former coach in the crowd, and then he was making his UFC debut against Julian Erosa, and he gets the first round knockout. Think
Wow.
about
That's
that. That's a trip, right?
that's crazy. Wow. His former coach was in the other corner. That's crazy. Wow.
Nuts, man. Nuts. That's
And he got the
but
finish.
that's the jam. That's the game, man. The
That
game is
is
like
that is
that.
the game.
You know,
That is
you
the
never
game.
know who's
It's
gonna be on
the
the
MMA
opposite
world's a
side.
small world.
So what do you expect, man? What are you expecting out of yourself in this one? I know you had some issues ahead of the last fight, but this fight, man, you seem like in a better, I think, physical and mental state. It seems like, man, you're much more comfortable.
Yeah, 110%. I feel like I'm obviously the years of experience and this and that are like paying off for me. But yeah, I mean I expect a tough fight. I know this kid's gonna come and he's gonna stuff his head in between my legs. You know what I mean, and grab on and try to get to my back. I'm gonna make it hard for him. I'm gonna make it hard for him. I'm gonna make him huff and puff, and then I'm gonna sit there and get in the pocket and try to box him up just like I do everybody else. You know what I mean? Everybody knows my style. I like to box. I like to stand there in the middle and trade and slip punches and you know what I mean, and test his will and just crack him and just see him break and just see him welt up as I land shots on his face. So I expect a tough fight. I expect a tough fight. Do I expect it to go 25 minutes? Man, I don't think so. I don't know. I feel like 25 minutes is a long time. I've been 25 minutes before, and I was young when I fought that last 25-minute fight, and I feel like I'm a different kind of animal now. So it's like with experience, and I'm almost a vet in this game. I feel like, and even with his 10-0 record, it's like, man, some of those fights were glorified amateur fights as a pro. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like he's over here trying to get comfortable. I'm over here trying to put on a performance. So once I start making it hot and heavy in there for him, I want to see what kind of Austin Bashi shows up.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for this fight, man. Once I
Yeah.
saw your name
Mhm.
on the poster next to his, I was like, yeah, this is a scrap, man. That's a crazy test right
This is
there,
a
man. So
contender series fight or a
yeah,
UFC
that's what I'm
fight.
saying.
I
That's
know,
what I'm
bro. It
saying.
drives me crazy, but it is what it is. I guess me and my boy
Yeah.
got to bleed for a little bit of less money.
Yeah, yeah. But the strap is on the line, man. It's once you got that belt on the line, that's sometimes that's all you need
Yeah,
to
this is
get some
true. This
people's
is true.
attention, right? So
I mean, no, I know the UFC is definitely looking at this kid. They've been looking at this kid. So, and I feel like maybe his manager or whatever his coaches, whoever's running his career, is probably like they were like, if we beat this guy, we're in. You know what I mean? So I feel like it should be the same way around for me. When I beat him, it should be my opportunity. I should be next up on a short list to get a UFC call in. You know what I mean? I've been waiting for that. I've been hoping. I've been praying. I thought I would be able to get it this year, even a contender series shot. But then last manager hit me with the, oh, you got too much experience for the contender series. I'm like, what does that even mean? I'm like, what does that mean? He looked me dead. I swear to God, he looked me dead in my eye and told me, you got too much experience for. I'm like, bro, why are you bullshitting me? I'm like, there's guys getting signed. I'm like, there's these Russian world champ, glory kickboxing champs coming over and getting. I'm like, you're gonna tell me. I'm like, just tell me the real reason. What, you don't like me, or you don't want me to be in right now because of some agenda that you're running with some other people? It's like, you know what I mean? Tell me what it is. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even care what it is. You're cut off. I'm done. I'm gonna go find somebody else. You know what I mean? And it's funny because the first thing he did is like, as soon as I told him, first thing he did is unfollow me on Instagram. It's like, you're so petty. I'm like, that's what you're worried about. I'm like, I cut you. You go, let me unfollow this guy. I was like, okay, okay.
well, man, you're past that now, and now you got this fight, which is phenomenal opportunity. Take advantage of it and do your thing and get on the mic and do your thing again, and let's see
Yes,
what happens,
sir.
man. Askar,
Yes,
man,
sir.
always good catching up, and yeah, man, all the best in this fight coming
My
up. It's
brother.
huge. People will be glued to the screen for this one, man.
My
It's a
brother.
scrap.
Thank you so much, bro. It's always good talking to you. I can't wait. I can't wait for this fight, honestly. I can't wait for next week to start. Can't wait to get this weight cut done. And I can't wait to fucking get in there and fight this kid.